Today, our muscle is one of the deepest muscle in the back. The Transverso Spinalis muscle, also known as Transverso Spinalis group. The reason why they call it Transverso Spinalis because this muscle group are in its origin transverse process and it goes all the way to its insertion on the spinous process of the same vertebrae. This muscle group consists of semispinalis muscle, multifidus muscle, and rotatores muscle. Let's subgroup these three major muscle and we're gonna start in semispinalis muscle. Semispinalis is the most superficial of the transverso spinalis group, but this muscle lies deep to the erector spinae. These semispinalis are a group of three muscles. Number 1 are semispinalis capitis, semispinalis cervicis, and the semispinalis thoracis. Let's start on semispinalis capitis. This is what it looks like. Its origin is from the articular processes of vertebrae, C4 to C7 and T1 to T6, and it goes up all the way on its insertion. The occipital bone between the two nuclear lines, which are known as the inferior and superior nuchal lines. The next one is the semispinalis cervicis. The slender fascicles of this muscle span over the thoracic and cervical region, as its origin is from T1 to T6 and insert in its insertion onto the posterior surfaces of spinous processes of vertebrae C2 to C5. The last muscle in semispinalis muscle is the semispinalis thoracis. This muscle has 5 muscle fascicles that originates from the transverse process of 5 consecutive vertebrae, T6 to T10. These are thin fibers that come together, comprise into a single muscle belly that contrive its way towards their insertion, spinous processes of T1 to T4 and C6 to C7. Now, the next muscle are multifidus. The multifidus muscle is a group of short triangular muscle. They are the thickest muscle in the transverso spinalis group and are shorter than semispinalis but longer than rotatores muscle. Like semispinalis muscle, multifidus also divided into 3, like it has cervical multifidus, thoracic multifidus, and lumbar multifidus. Let's start with cervical multifidus. The origin is articular processes of C4 to C7 and inserted on the lateral aspects of the tips of the spinous process of C2 to C5. And just below the cervical multifidus, the thoracic multifidus. Its origin is transverse processes of thoracic vertebrae and inserted into spinous processes of the vertebrae like 2 to 5 levels above their origin. The last one is the lumbar multifidus muscle. The origin is from the posterior sacrum, superior iliac spine, and mammillary processes of lumbar vertebrae, transverse process of the thoracic vertebrae, and inserted to the base of spinous processes of all vertebrae from L5 to T8. That is 2 to 4 level above the origin. Now let's proceed to rotatories muscle. These are the deepest muscle in the transverso spinalis. Like multifidus and semispinalis, rotatories muscle has 3 divisions. The first one is rotatories coli, also known as rotatories cervices. Then the second one is rotatories thoracis. Then the third one is rotatories lumborum. Each of it is consists of 2 parts. Part 1 is called longus, that has 2 segments. Mean if the muscle originate in 7th vertebrae, it will insert in 5th vertebrae. And the second part is short, called brevis, that has a shortest fascicle spanning into 1, and it also divided into 3. These muscles are small and have quadrilateral shape because they had 4 sides. This is the rotatories brevis look like. Shortest fascicle spanning only into 1. That is our transverso spinalis group muscle. Please subscribe to my channel.